A lot of great basketball in your time playing and now with us. What impresses you most about Golden State when you see them up close?
Well, the fact that this is their 5th straight year going to the finals and that they don't allow ego or chemistry issues or selfishness or boredom. I mean, periodically you see it a little bit in the regular season. It's just human nature. But they easily could have conceded tonight when they went down 17. And I believe it's the leadership of Stephen Curry and Draymond Green. They refuse to allow any quit in the group. And just to echo what Tim said, I mean, it's an amazing thing to watch Steph become the focal point again. But the other thing that's happening here, and maybe Tim's already said this, but Draymond Green has the ball, and he's making decisions as well. And when that happens in a numbered situation, 3-on-2, 2-on-1, it's always good. But how about Kevon Looney stepping in, Alfonso McKinney, Jordan Bell? I mean, these are men who periodically throughout the course of the season had lost the trust and equity of the coaches, but they stick with them, and they stick with it as professionals. And now in the biggest moment, they have come through. Just an incredible team effort.
And certainly Curry is the hub of this whole operation. It's nothing without him. They're still a good team, but he's such a savant, Doris, such a maestro, so beautiful to watch. What's it like to watch him in person like you got to do?
I just marvel at it. His ability to make shots under duress, multiple defenders flying at him, the ability to give it up and on the move to make a catch and release. I don't know how fast it is. I think Klay Thompson has been clocked as the fastest catch and release shooter. But Steph Curry is relentless. You cannot relax or breathe for a second because once you do, and even if you get a good close on him, he's still going to make shots, and I think it's demoralizing to teams. There was a point at which, once this score got tied, you could hear the entire arena go flat. It was like the building got their breath taken away by what the Golden State Warriors and Steph Curry were doing.
You're right. Life is about balance. It's the most important word, one of the most important words we have, and Draymond does give them that buzz, that electricity. You know, Steph and Klay are kind of really smooth operators, but man, Dre is such a beast there, such a hunger. It's palpable when you're next to him, isn't it?
I think that they feed off this group, and it's why, and what's really fascinating to me is the lack of engagement with the officials. He flat out said in an interview, I believe with the New York Times, he said, it was probably disgusting to watch me engaging with the officials. And I have to say, the lack of that talk with the officials has coincided with the best basketball we have ever seen. So shout out to his mom and a shout out to his girlfriend, because apparently these are the two women in his life saying, enough of that, just play basketball. But boy, John, when he does, look out.
Absolutely. Doris Burke live with us in Portland.
The Curry family theme was on display throughout the first 4 games of this series. But it's Steph in the end who gets it done, moving on once again to the NBA Finals. New on SportsCenter, Terry Stotts, fresh off being swept.
Hats off to Golden State. They've shown how good they are, championship pedigree. We played them 3 really good games and couldn't get over the hump. But I think it was more of a demonstration of how good they are and how good they've been over the years, and they find ways to win. So it was a disappointing loss, but it was for me it was an outstanding season with the guys in the locker room are special, and it's been a special season. It's always tough to lose the last game of the year, but I couldn't be more proud of the group that we've had.
Not like Portland wasn't in the series. You know, it looks like you see the sweep factor, but then you also have to realize, especially in the last 3 games, Portland led by as many as 17.
Download the app and start your free trial.
First coach in NBA history to reach the finals in each of his first 5 seasons as a head coach. Steve Kerr.
Fight and scrap. In the end, it's a sweep, but we had to scrap and claw for three of the 4 victories. So this was a lot more difficult than it may have appeared. So we're happy to move on and happy to get a little rest before we have to play again. We'll open it up.
Gareth Burke, NBC Sports Bay Area. And going along with the difficulty, there are going to be people who look at this and see a sweep, think it was easy. What made it so challenging, whether it was the things that the Blazers were throwing at you or the injuries siphoning off your manpower? How did you guys persevere?
Well, you know, our guys they've been at this for a while. So they know how to win. They know how to come back from deficits. And when you get this deep in the playoffs, you're playing against the best teams in the league. And, this backcourt that you're dealing with McCollum and Lillard it's a nightmare trying to stay in front of them, and you have to commit help. You have to have a five-man defensive effort, and that leaves you vulnerable in areas. I thought tonight they did their best job of exposing those vulnerabilities. Myers Leonard was fantastic, and they did a really good job of moving the ball. They had 31 assists, and our defense was shaky tonight, but we turned it up in the fourth quarter and in overtime and got it done. But it was an uphill climb the whole way.
Hey, Steve. Phil Barber, Santa Rosa Press Democrat. What did you think of the efforts of McKinney and Looney in overtime for you?
Well, I think they've both been fantastic all year. Looney has become one of our foundational pieces. He does this every single night. And I think one thing that we've seen in almost every series is as the game goes on and players get tired, Loon gets more and more rebounds. He just has a knack for the ball, really long arms, great feel for the game. And so his rebounding, I think he had 14 tonight, bunch of offensive boards. Really a big key for us. And then, without Andre, we needed every ounce of effort from Alfonso. And, we didn't want to extend Sean Livingston's minutes. Played 21, which is already a high number. Up 3-0, going into tonight. So when we went overtime, we just decided let's give Zoe the minutes, and he came through in a big way.
Steve, Nick Friedel, ESPN. In this era, how would you put into context what it means to go to the NBA Finals for the fifth straight season?
I hope it doesn't go unnoticed or underrated. 5 straight finals hasn't been done since the 60s, since Bill Russell's Celtics. Hasn't been done for a reason. It's really, really difficult. And so I just can't say enough about the competitive desire of the group of players that we have here and the culture that they've built together. Playing together regardless of injury. We've had, being without Kevin these last 5 games has put us in a really tough spot, and our guys stepped up in a big way. A couple of years back, we were without Steph for over a 2-year period. I think he missed like 12 playoff games, and we won 9 of them. So the group has a fiber to them where when guys go down, they find a way to come together and compete and win. Starts defensively. If you can defend at a high level in the playoffs, you always have a chance. But I just think the experience of winning titles helps you in these moments, and it helps you continue to move forward and come away with victories like tonight.
Again, Steph Curry averaged 36.5 points per game in this series. That's the most ever by any player in a 4-game sweep. He's never lost to Portland in the playoffs. 10-0. He really is leaves. In this run of 5 straight, he's really the hub.
And Curry will be asked, I'm sure, by us or somebody else, how different this team is from the previous 4 to go to the NBA Finals. Maybe the difference is truly an entire team. There's so much depth. Steve Kerr has used 7 different starting lineups in the first 3 rounds of the playoffs. Much more.